Good.
Oh, good.
You?
I'm actually so much going on today, so much that I didn't know what I could add and what I could. If you would have left me to my own devices, I would have had a 3-hour show for today.
Oh boy. Well, of those 3 people, 0 now. I would just love that. Oh, look, I said 3.
Well, there you go. Well, our numbers are going up. Everybody out there, if you're watching us, try and watch us on Rumble and give us a Rumble. Subscribe to the channel. Or if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Last week's show went started crawling.
We had 20.
Yeah, well, we were in the 4 digits, in the thousands.
What?
Yeah, in the thousands.
Lies.
Hello, Francine. How are you? Yeah, so Jen, so much going on. I mean, I didn't know where to start, but we should kick off the show, huh?
Okay. A half inch means a lot sometimes.
This pumpkin latte sucked, and I want to speak to your manager.
How much is the economy today? Oh, it's that much.
Objection, hearsay. Objection, leading. Objection, hearsay.
Where is that woman when Biden speaks?
So, we had another balloon floating over America. They don't know what it was or from where. So that's interesting today.
I need to start watching the news in the daytime.
Oh, then you won't have the element of surprise when we do our show. But you should watch the news. Hi, Bobby, and our OG Lucille Chavone.
Hi, Lucille.
And Anthony Blinken, when he was Deputy Secretary of State under Obama, emails show that he lied under oath in that he actually was speaking to Hunter Biden when Hunter was working for Burisma. So that's blowing up all over the place. Really, really interesting stuff going on. But tonight's show is called "It's Trump's Fault."
It's always Trump's fault.
Always Trump's fault. And we're going to explore Trump Derangement Syndrome. And but before we do that, I want to just I want everybody to take a look at this. This is our Bill of Rights. And I want everybody to look at number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So, why am I showing you that? I'm showing you that because our video, and I hope we get some viewers jumping in to see this. Our first videos are about January 6th. Now, we're not going to do a Fauci Award tonight, Jen, because in my opinion, most of these videos should have received the Fauci Award.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, it's Trump Derangement Syndrome is real and it runs deep. Hold on a second. Good refresher. Yep. And Josh was with us. Ralph Rubinick's with us. We're going to get to the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights on tonight's topics too. But this one is a long video. I want you to get something to drink and to get some popcorn because it is behind the scenes. Jen,
well, if you get popcorn and something to drink, they're going to miss the video. So.
Okay, well, I'll wait.
If you didn't obviously they don't listen because they don't even go on Rumble, so it's fine. They're not going to listen to you.
Well, remember how Nancy Pelosi and AOC and everybody said that the traumatization of people, I'm going to call them lobbyists now. They were lobbying for an investigation into election fraud. I'm going to call them lobbyists. I'm not calling them rioters. I'm not calling them assholes anymore. I'm going to call them lobbyists because they share a lot of the same traits as lobbyists. They went to the Capitol because they wanted a look into election fraud. And we heard Nancy Pelosi and everybody say how terrified they were. Well, I'm going to show you what they were doing behind the scenes. I'm worried about a mutual. He's posting a video wearing a duck head and a squirrel and a dolly. I think he lost his mind. Maybe that's Trump's fault. Oh, could be, Len. Could be. Hello, Grandma Joe. As Camelo would say, Trump is at fault today because today is tomorrow and yesterday is today and today is tomorrow today. Agreed. So, without further ado, watch this behind the scenes in the Capitol. Watch.
We have got to finish the proceedings or else it will have a complete victory. There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that government can function and that we can elect the President of the United States. Hi, Governor. This is Nancy. Governor, I don't know if you have been approached about the Virginia National Guard. Mr. Hoyer was speaking to Governor Hogan, but I still think you probably need the okay of the federal government in order to come into another jurisdiction. Thank you.
Secretary of the Army.
Oh my gosh, they're just breaking windows. They're doing all kinds of. It's really that they said somebody was shot. It was just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States. Okay, thank you, Governor. I appreciate what you're doing, and if you don't mind, I'd like to stay in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Virginia Guard has been called in.
You know, I'm just talking to Governor Northam, and what he said is they sent 200 state police and a unit of the National Guard. They're breaking windows and going in, obviously ransacking our offices and all the rest of that. That's nothing. The concern we have about personal harm, personal safety is just transcends everything. But the fact is, on any given day, they're breaking the law in many different ways. And quite frankly, much of it at the instigation of the President of the United States. And now, if he could at least somebody.
Yeah, why don't you get the President to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility. A public statement, they should all leave. This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got.
You also have troops. This is Steny Hoyer. Troops.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base.
All right.
Other military bases.
Thank you.
We need active duty National Guard.
How soon in the future can you have the place evacuated, pulled, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing the operation, so I'm not going to say that because they're on the ground and they're the experts.
Well, just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan. To Mitch about it earlier. He's not in the room right now, but he was with us earlier and said, we want to expedite this, and hopefully they could confine it to just one complaint, Arizona, and then we could vote, and that would be, then just move forward with the rest of the state. The overriding wish is to do it at the Capitol. What we are being told very directly is it's going to take days for the Capitol to be okay again. We've gotten a very bad report about the condition of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing as well. I don't think that that's hard to clean up, but I do think it is more from a security standpoint of making sure that everybody is out of the building, and how long will that take? I just got off with the Vice President.
And I got off with the Vice President-elect. So I'll tell him.
Okay. But what we left the conversation with, because he said he had the impression from Mitch that Mitch wants to get everybody back to do it there.
Yes.
I said that what we're getting a counterpoint that is, it could take time to clean up the poo-poo that they're making all over literally and figuratively in the Capitol, and that it may take days to get back.
And I'm at the Capitol building. I'm literally standing with the chief of police of the U.S. Capitol Police. He just informed me what you will hear through official channels. Paul Irving, your sergeant at arms, will inform you that their best information is that they believe that the House and the Senate will be able to reconvene in roughly an hour.
Good news.
Your sergeant at arms will be in touch about the process for getting members back into the building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Good news.
She's so worried to get back in there.
So worried because they were making their plan, right? The first bit of the clip said they have to get back to the floor, otherwise they will have a complete victory. And then secondly, she said, I heard somebody was shot, but never worried about that. They were going to get back in.
And they had Triscuits, thank God. They had Triscuits on the table.
Triscuits and water. But the most important thing was twice she said they did it at the behest of the President of the United States, which was Donald Trump. So these are people that were fearing for their lives. But what they were doing was they were setting up for their story to tell everybody, because they're the most important people in the world.
Yes.
These lobbyists came in to say they wanted an investigation into the election, and these most important people in the world were disrupted, and they weren't going to be disrupted. They weren't going to allow the people. What did I say with the First Amendment? The people are allowed to
congregate,
to go to Congress to have their voices heard. So I think that, I don't know if any of you have seen that before. I certainly didn't. That was from our friends at Sky News. And I thought it was important. Gloria is with us tonight. Hello, Gloria. And the professor is with us. Hello, Professor. The Stormers were registered Democrats. Well, I don't know about that, because the one with the hat was proven to be Terry somebody or another, not necessarily the judge of a son of a.
It was a mixture of people. Yeah. They were antagonizing each other.
She's certainly dramatic. U.S. District Judge James Bosberg said Aaron Matofsky was literally on the front lines leading the procession. Blinken's wife is on Biden's cabinet. Yeah, well, that's true. They wanted to clean the poop off the floor. The poop just went back in.
Well, Pelosi and Schumer are still there. So yeah, exactly.
She was scared shit. Yeah, she was scared shit that she was going to be the one to lose control, and that they were not going to be able to ratify those votes. The VP-elect before it was even settled. Absolutely, he did, because they all have an agenda. So that was, and did you all notice that CNN was on in the background? Just saying, just saying. But did you also notice that they had, after she said somebody was shot, she never mentioned it again. I mean, she was mentioning,
didn't ask if anyone was okay,
right, and that they were ransacking the Capitol. So I want to show you what went on inside the Senate chambers. Watch.
Hey, get out of that chair.
No, this is our chair.
I agree with you, brother, but it's not ours. It belongs to the Vice President of the United States when he's in here. It's not our chair. Look, I love you guys, you're brothers, but we can't be disrespectful.
Don't disrespect. They can steal an election, but we can't sit in their chair.
No, we're not putting up with that either. Look, it's a PR war, okay? You have to understand it's an IO war. We can't lose the IO war.
We're better than that.
Information operation. We can't do it.
I want to just get a snap of that.
Yeah, I took a picture.
Hey, how's that? down the stairs.
And look here, look.
Ted Cruz's objection to the Arizona.
His objection. He was going to sell us out all along. Really? Look, objection to counting electoral votes of the state of Arizona. Can I get a photo of that? Wait, no, that's actually okay. All right, we're pissed.
He's with us. He's with us. There's got to be something in here we can fucking use against these scumbags. Quit acting a fool, man! America's a republic. Oh no, this is good stuff. Hey! Quit acting a fool! Fucking hey, man. Glad to see you guys. You guys are fucking patriots. Look at this guy. He's got covered in blood. God bless you. Yes. You good, sir? Do you need medical attention?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
I got shot in the face. Where are they? I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
I know.
Hey, no, I'm gonna take a seat in this chair because Mike Pence is a fucking traitor. I'm not one to usually take pictures of myself, but in this case, I think I'm making an exception. Hey, you in the red? Can you take a picture of me? I'm throwing my phone.
Literally.
Thank you.
Yeah, they ain't got a choice. There's 500,000 people here.
You want straight on?
You should be stopping us.
No. He's doing. He's doing the right thing. He's obeying his oath. I'm making sure you guys don't do anything else. Now that you've done that, can I get you guys to walk out of this room, please? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would greatly appreciate it. Hey, come on, man. I feel like you're pushing the line. Hey,
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is our capital. Let's be respectful to him. There's 4 million people coming in, so there's a lot of control. We love you guys. We love the cops.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
All right, come on. Over 4 million people are coming everywhere, all the way back to the monument. We're trying to push everything. We support you guys, okay? We support you guys. And we appreciate what you're doing. We know you're doing your job.
You know what's so funny? So, I mean, I know their windows, she was so like dramatic and saying the windows were being broken, but that's property that taxpaying dollars pay for.
Yep.
During the BLM, they were breaking windows and setting fire to buildings that private citizens owned.
That's right.
And nobody cared about that.
Yep.
So,
well, we've already established that it's not. There's no fairness, right? There's no equality in the situation. It's about messaging, and that's what's so important here. And that's why I decided to pick up where Tucker Carlson left off. I had those clips. I've had them for some time, and we hadn't really did a deep dive into this, but I decided that now's time to talk about this a little bit because she was spinning the narrative that it was Trump's fault right from the get-go, to the governors, to everybody, right? And their only concern was to be able to get back in there to show that they were in control. I'm not saying that they're wrong, because in a situation like that, right, that's your obligation. You have to show that you're in control. But what they did afterwards with the BS, with the January 6th committee, saying that 5 cops were killed there, that never speaking about Ashley Babbitt unarmed being killed. Spinning this narrative was to make Americans afraid to bring their concerns to Congress to have them overturned. Their goal in all of this January 6th stuff, their goal in arresting and convicting and holding people in jail, regular people who you saw them walking in the line. You saw them right here. I mean, this was the New Yorker. This was a reporter for the New Yorker who took this footage. That cop was standing there. That those guys were saying, respect this. That there was one point where a piece of paper fell out of the binder when the kid was looking through it, and the guy picked it up and put it back where it belonged. These were not people who were there to set fire to the Capitol. These were not people that were there to harm anyone. These were people that wanted
answers.
They wanted answers. And what's happening
just
now,
like they take everyone's laptops away. They took Rudy Giuliani's laptop. They go fishing for stuff. They went fishing for stuff as well.
That's right. The professor says that Pelosi's was a convincing act. Bobby says that the truth will be out. Martha Radish says she wasn't scared on TV. Yeah, AOC, who was going to get raped. I mean, that looked like a group that
would want to rape her.
Yeah, the cop was standing there, and they were. I mean, at the end, the guy said, "Listen, we respect you. You know, we support you." Yes, this is exactly why Tucker got let go, and this is why we're talking about it today, because the truth has to come out. Of course, the unarmed veteran gets shot dead and not a peep. That's right, Ashley Babbitt. It is our house, and all the stuff in it is ours. You're not supposed to acknowledge that we're living in a society that's lawless. Yeah, well, the lawless society, unfortunately, comes. You know, Washington is the seat of the lawlessness. That's where it's coming. You know, this is what's the new term? The uniparty. Okay, they all are working together, and you saw that Mitch McConnell was in there, and that he said that they just have the Arizona objection, and that would be it. They were negotiating right there to move this thing forward, and Mitch McConnell was at the center of it. Mitch McConnell wanted it to move forward. Mitch McConnell was always a freaking swamp creature, and he still is, and somebody needs to take him on. There was no insurrection. That is correct, because if there was this insurrection, they wouldn't have stood a chance. If this was an organized group of people who were going in to take over Congress, they would have done it, you know, because there weren't enough police officers to stop them. There just weren't. But
and why? Because she didn't call them in when she got the information.
Well, but there were permits issued for people to gather at the Capitol. They had permits. You know, that's right, Debbie. He's going to be running on January 6th. That's why I want to talk about it now. The truth is out. What's going to happen? Well, yeah, what's going to happen? The thing is that we have to keep talking about it. We have to not be afraid to discuss it. We have to be the ones to not allow them driving the narrative to change the perception of the truth. And there are, you know, many people out there right now that will continue to say that January 6th was wrong. Listen, I think that it was wrong for people to barge into the Capitol. I think that they could have stayed on the front lawn and they would have not stopped the proceedings. But once they did go in, even if the cops let them in, which we know they did that so that they could now have the story and they can create the story how they wanted. And if you listen to that one guy saying it was an information war, it is an information war, and it's not over. We have to be willing to speak the truth and not be afraid of what, you know, the ramifications.
Like a terrible high school fight. That's what this is like.
Yeah, it really is. That was the goal. They were waved in. That is exactly right. It's like the Kent State massacre, right? Let's ask the gun control kids if they support that school shooting. If it was a real insurrection, the Incredible Hulk wouldn't have stopped them. Exactly. Should have used military to keep order. Well, the military was there. The thing is that for the most part,
a lot of them were ex-military, which is funny.
For the most part, there was order. That's the whole thing. For the most part, there was order.
Yeah, the breaking of the windows outside, ridiculous.
That was
especially when you were let in.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
that really, you know, that was a big no-no to make us look bad.
How do we stop the Democrats, the woke community? How do we stop them? Look at the migrants out of here. Yeah, listen, how we stop them is speaking the truth. Liars, the Democrats, and all of their facilitators. Not just the Democrats. That's what I'm saying. Stop saying it's just the Democrat. It's the uniparty of Washington. That's what we have to understand. Geez, that's what Trump ran on. And that's what he gave us. He opened our eyes so that we could see that both Republicans and Democrats.
Pence, yeah. Well,
that's it. You said it, Jen. Pence Pence was there making the negotiations so that they could, get the election certified. The barging of the Capitol was definitely uncalled for. It was instigated by those who wanted to make the narrative that Trump instigated a storm of the Capitol, and they did it. They managed to do it. She turned down Trump's offer for the military presence. Yes, she did. Pence is a rhino. Yeah, it's, you know what? They're just lifers. They're Washington lifers. And listen, as somebody who has been in Washington, who's been asked to work in Washington and turned it down, because once you get there, the power is so immense and your ability to do things is so immense, and people whining and dining you for their own objective is so it charms you and it changes you and it makes you
it's a cult.
It makes you somebody that you don't want to be. Instigated by the feds, globalists, indeed. Trump will be our president again. From your mouth to God's ears, Christopher. Career politicians. Yes, that's the whole thing. It was the career politicians. The truth will prevail, and God bless America. Susan, I hope you're right. We just have to keep speaking the truth. May not have been all Trump supporters. That's right, Andrew. That's the whole thing. We were there. We were on the outside. We were there for a different reason, but we happened to get caught up in all of that. And we saw Antifa there. We saw the cops let them in. Once those police officers swung open the doors, that was, and we said it over and over again, don't go in, because then you give them what they want.
And it was pretty funny because Antifa dressed like Trump supporters, and the Trump supporters were afraid of Antifa, so they dressed like Antifa, and it was like Bizarre World from Seinfeld.
Yeah. Never forget Trump went to get you. Yeah, it was crazy. Gave a speech which the media never covered. 47 years and they haven't done anything yet. 47 years. Chris, you got to explain that comment. They set that up so insane. They absolutely did. They set it up. But they set it up to be Trump's fault. And now that is what, that's the label they put on him and everybody that was at the Capitol to get nothing more than answers. They had a question. Why was this election run this way? Was the election legitimate? And they couldn't get their answer. And you saw the behind the scenes, how Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell, and Schumer all got together to make sure that narrative it was Trump's fault. So next time somebody says to you insurrection or January 6th, you tell them, go look at the Right Stuff video. I'll show you video of people who were scared for their lives. Those were not people scared for their lives. Those were people that were negotiating a political campaign. And that's what you saw live, a political campaign in action. It was bullshit. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there. It's always Trump's fault. Yes, exactly. So here is a video of Tucker Carlson speaking with Eric Swalwell about Swalwell's bill to ban assault rifles. I want you to listen to what Swalwell had to say. I want you to listen for the phrase outgunned. Here we go.
I'm just going to quote once again. And we should buy back those weapons, and I'm quoting, criminally prosecute any who refuse to, choose to defy it by keeping their weapons. So you're going to prosecute people who don't give up their weapons. That's gun confiscation.
If they're caught with them, yeah. We're not sending troops. We're not sending troops door to door.
So, but what do you think? What do you think would happen? I mean, do you think, because of course the overwhelming majority of those people are law-abiding, have committed no crime, have no plans to commit a crime. You would instantly turn them into felons. Do you think that you would have a civil war?
Yeah, no, there's no troop roundup here, Tucker.
No, but you just made them into felons. You just said that in the piece. Look, I'm not making this up, but you wrote that. So what do you think? Like, if I'm a gun owner and I have one of the weapons that you say should be banned, and I don't feel like bringing it to a gun club, I feel like keeping it in my bedroom closet.
I don't think you're giving the American people enough credit that they'd be law-abiding and that they would
obey you.
Well, no,
or else they'd be criminally prosecuted.
No, I'm suggesting we have a conversation in Congress and pass a ban like this.
Would you apply these standards to yourself and your fellow members of Congress?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
not cops though. I don't think cops should be outgunned.
So your bodyguards could have any kind of guns.
I don't have bodyguards,
yes,
Tucker.
You do. I was there today.
No,
you have many bodyguards.
I don't have bodyguards.
There today.
I don't personally have bodyguards.
Oh, but you're surrounded by them.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by bodyguards that I pay for, and
they're police officers. They're sworn. They're trained.
They're there to protect you.
And they shouldn't be outgunned.
Why shouldn't my wife have the same firearm at home that your bodyguards use to protect you? Is that fair or is that unfair? Why is it unfair?
That's a ridiculous argument.
Oh, why?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? Because you're more important than me?
No, I don't. You are trying to confuse the issue. No, I'm asking a sincere
question. Why should you get to protect yourself?
Our cops should not be outgunned.
No,
period.
I'm talking not our cops. I'm talking
our military shouldn't be outgunned.
No, your cops.
Period.
Cops shouldn't be outgunned, period. Military shouldn't be outgunned, period. I am going to share the screen again, and we are going to read our Second Amendment. And here we go. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Why? Why shall it not be infringed? Well, because the government should not have more weapons than the people, because when the government has more weapons than the people, they can enslave the people.
You become North Korea.
North Korea, China, England, you name it, everywhere other than America is not allowed to, the people are not allowed to have weapons greater than the government. The founding fathers wrote that because they knew that if the people didn't have the right to bear arms, that the central government could then march into the states and declare war on the states or tell the states what to do. That's why that militia is necessary. And in order for a state to have a militia, the people have to have the right to bear arms. So when you hear a member of Congress or anyone tell you that the people should not outgun the government, get scared. Get really scared, because that is what keeps the balance, the fact. And quite frankly, January 6th, let's talk about that for a minute. If people had brought guns with them, there was no chance in hell that they would have been able to keep control of Congress. If this was really planned to be an insurrection, those guns would have been coming out from all over the place, and they weren't. Nobody was armed. Nobody. So I know we've got a lot of comments here. Let's see. Veronica is giving applause. Christopher, 47 years of Biden. That's correct. He's done nothing. Okay. We all know the truth, and every time they blame Trump, this is the truth. That is a true statement. What's coming out of the mouths of the Uniparty is not true. It all began way back before the election with Hillary, where they only could cover lawsuit of 2 women and Donald Trump. Yes. None of the guns are military assault weapons, the same way the Mexican drug cartels get their weapons, like Operation Fast and Furious, same way school shooters do. Yeah, well, criminals.
A lot of them took the weapons from their parents' house. I mean, that's just, and I don't think anybody should have assault rifles in their house. I don't think there's a need for that. You can have a gun, absolutely, but I don't think you need an assault weapon, and that's how I feel.
Well, I appreciate what you feel.
Because a lot of those shootings were done by assault weapons that were in the home. I know that you can have any gun you want. I just feel that when that happens, I mean, whatever. Go ahead.
No, listen, you have a right to your opinion, and a lot of young people feel the way you do.
It's not that I'm a young person, because I'm not, but I just don't feel like most of those school shootings were with the guns.
AR-15s.
They are, and they were in the homes of their parents.
Okay,
they weren't off the streets,
right? So you get them off the street, and you think that a kid can't get an AR-15 from a criminal?
they're going to get a handgun before that, which is
But
not
well,
the
the handgun is automatic too. They want to ban automatic handguns. They want to ban.
I didn't know. I think it was assault rifles.
Well, no, they're saying
I didn't hear
all
that.
automatic weapons. So, but once again, when you give up your right for a gun, right? If you give up your right to own
when you outlaw guns, the only people that will have guns are outlaws.
Exactly.
And the government, which are
outlaws.
outlaws.
Because we don't need a tyrannical government. Exactly. Australia, perfect, Colleen. That's right. Federalist Papers discuss this. They certainly do. And I suggest everybody who cares about the Constitution reads them. Is he nuts? The criminals are the problem. That's why they was enforced, so we can protect ourselves from corrupt government. And that's the thing that I think is so important, especially for women, because women are the biggest criers of get rid of the assault rifles. And so in South Carolina, I bring women to the shooting range on a regular basis so they can shoot guns. And usually I bring them to shoot automatic weapons because they need to learn how to use guns.
Those are so hard to shoot. When Jimmy tried to get me to do it upstate, I was like, it hurts actually to shoot them.
If you need to get a gun that's right for you. But the people that want to ban these weapons are usually women at the beginning, clamoring with the Dems or the libs or whoever it is that wants to ban the weapons. The first, again, cars don't cause drunk driving accidents. Drunk drivers do.
Well, that's the whole thing. If you stop, listen, and I love the fact how they've said 100 and something mass shootings this year with assault rifles were committed. Okay. But how many murders were committed on our streets in America by handguns? But they're all concerned about banning the assault rifles.
Right.
Nobody talks about locking up the people that pulled the trigger and keeping them in jail.
Right.
Should be a mandatory year in jail for anybody found with an illegal gun involved in a shooting. Mandatory. 2 years.
It used to be that way.
But it's not. I know it used to be that way, and it's not anymore.
But
they're focusing on the one thing, and I don't understand why they're focusing on that.
I'll tell you why. Maybe some of our people can tell you why too, but I'll tell you to save time. They're focusing on that because once they get assault weapons, then they can make the case for the next type of weapon and the next type of weapon and the next type of. Once you give back, then that's it. The floodgates open. It's the same as once the cops open the doors to the Capitol and let people in, the floodgates were open. If you can't, why would you give up any of your rights? The Constitution doesn't say, you can't have a this or you can't have a that or only single shot, guns. It says you have a well-armed militia. That's what it says. If the government has assault weapons and the people do not, then they are outgunned. And then
that's their whole thing because there's not as many officials than there are people. So they need their assault weapons.
Exactly. But they're never going to stop being made. The Democrats.
No, there'll always be ghost guns no matter what gun it is. That's most of the guns. I mean, in the mass shootings, like I said, they come from the home predominantly.
Yeah.
Maybe a stricter law, a full background check on the people in the homes, I feel, just for that reason. But
Jen shouldn't have a tractor trailer either. I don't understand that. It's not the gun, it's the person pulling the trigger. Exactly. AR-15 is not an assault rifle. That's right. Waco, Texas, the feds investigating child abuse and then go gun control as a reason to burn children to death. Not a peep from Democrats. People shouldn't own things they can't use properly. Absolutely, Professor, which is exactly why I bring women to the range. And I have brought women as old as 80 and as young as 16 to the firing range so they understand the weapon and they understand what it can do and how to use it properly in case they ever have to. But also so that they can not buy the hype of being fearful of the weapon. It's it's like you're not going to be afraid to drive a car because you heard that there were how many car crashes. Okay, we're going to move on because we're already at 40 minutes.
Remember this with Denise Boland? Oh, hello. I had to look. Oh, yeah, I'm reading the comments.
I was reading the comments. Oh, Denise is here. How are you, Denise? Okay. If a person proves they can qualify with a legal weapon. Yep. They are abolishing the Constitution. They started with Trump. Look at the amendments and you will see what they have been doing. That's absolutely true. Susan Dreamer, Demira seems to like the comments. If gun control was effective, why are so many children killing each other in Chicago?
Everywhere.
And it comes right down to it, right? I mean, we have all these laws, but there's still kids are still being killed. Target practice is one. The best outlets as well as hunting. Gun safety was always been informed by the NRA. That's absolutely correct. They are
continue to let the outlaws out, and that's all. That's just it's going to grow and grow and grow, and that's it. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so freedom of the press. Freedom of the press. Watch this. There's a young man in a college. It was a college forum. And I don't know that he's conservative or a Dem or anything. He's just concerned about truth. We need more of him. Why?
All of you are executive editors of papers that broke Pentagon, My Lai, Watergate. Is this the same papers or not? I mean, is there anything you've gotten right in the last 20 years, or am I mistaken about that? I mean, it's just kind of funny because Iraq, wrong. Syria, wrong. Russiagate, really wrong. Okay, I mean, the list goes on and on. So the last thing you could do to try and actually fix your reputation is acknowledge that through leaks, we had to find out that Zelensky was going to bomb Moscow on the anniversary. I mean, if you're so impartial, shouldn't you at least say, right, that Zelensky was going to bring us on the verge of World War III? That seems pretty fair. While Julian Assange rots in prison, all of you got, fat checks because he's in jail for doing your job. And you know what? Tucker Carlson ain't no Seymour Hersh, but he did something you guys are scared to do. Speak the truth and actually be critical of the war, which is why he was actually fired from Fox, because you are all cowards. Every single one of you. None of you have actually had any relevancy. And you know what? The mainstream press is now dying. Nobody's ever going to listen to you again. You have no credibility with the public. The only people who care about what you have to say are elite assholes who have nothing productive to say anymore. And it's dying off. So will you at least say something, either about Nord Stream or Ukraine or the fact that Zelensky brought us to the verge of World War III and the only reason we knew about that was through leaks? Go ahead. It's a free speech event, right? You guys are the press. Let's say something here. Mr. Khan, come on. You're the executive editor of the New York Times, I'm just trying to get into some good trouble here, man. Woo. Listen, Karen, get out of my face for a second. I got to talk to these gentlemen. Okay. Well, I just want to hear what they have to say. Go ahead. I'm done.
Wait your turn.
You're not going to tell them to you. Come.
Wait your turn.
You could project if we can't.
I would just say, I think it's important to hear everybody's point of view.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right.
I do think that we need to give our moderator a chance to ask other questions.
We're on the verge of World War III.
Some of the people in the audience also do so. Thank you. Really, thank you.
Say something about this bombing. We blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Listen, don't stand there while there are people rotting in prison. Nobody said anything about Uhuru, right? The socialists who are in jail for being critical of this war. God damn it.
Let's go.
At least say something about the people in jail for being critical of this war. They don't deserve to be in prison right now.
You just need one of these. That's all they needed.
Yeah.
They couldn't answer. They were like Biden's press secretary, dancing around everything. And
you've had your turn now. We should let the moderator ask the question.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, because he called them out. Think about the courage. But here's the thing. He got hauled off by the police. But when it was Riley, at the college to talk about, men in sports or trans in sports. They hauled her out and locked her in a room for hours while the protesters and the people that disagreed with her all stood up and carried on and carried on and carried on. When it's a conservative speaker,
there's no freedom of speech. There's acceptance of speech. If we accept your speech, we'll hear it. If we don't, you get pounded to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, and that is the thing that makes people distrust this whole situation. Trump is a classic liberal. He never was a conservative. Yes, that's true. He never was a conservative. Read Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. What a violation. I don't have the 14th Amendment on my screen. I love this guy. He speaks the truth. So did I. That's why I included it. He speaks the truth is
Not
right.
anymore. They probably broke his jaw.
3 cheers for that guy. Love him speaking truth. Okay, puppets. Yes, they're all puppets. When you call them out, you get escorted out the door. And he screamed all the way out the door. I love it. Where is the Me Too movement when this men in sports agenda? Right, exactly. None of them know what to say because they are all
That's
liars.
it. If you had a logical...
Susan DeRima gets that. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I was going to say, if you had a logical answer to any of it, you would answer. But when you don't, you shut your mouth.
You should write rectum cavity instead of asshole. Maybe they would have let him talk more, Professor. I don't know. Well, I think that he was young and courageous, and God bless him. All right, take a look at this one.
Oh, America's still a free country, right?
Victor F. is a 74-year-old Trump supporter who lives in Palo Alto. He casually went about his business today, still sporting the red MAGA hat that prompted a loud confrontation with a woman at a Palo Alto Starbucks 2 days ago.
This crazy woman came over, started raving at me. She turned to the rest of Starbucks. Hey, everybody, here's this racist here. He hates brown people. He's crazy. He's a Nazi and so forth.
The woman, Rebecca Parker Mankey, then began taking photos and posting about it on her Facebook, saying she was going to shame him, get him fired, kicked out of clubs, and march up and down his street. Victor says she left, then came back and tried to rile the Starbucks crowd once more.
Hey, again, everybody here, this racist and so on. And then as she wrote in her thing, she was disappointed all the people didn't come and mob me.
In fact, the opposite happened. People started harassing Parker Mankey's family and her employer, Griffin Stringed Instruments, where she worked as an accountant. The store owner decided to fire her after he read her Facebook posts.
We feel that music is what brings people together, and so having someone then making comments that are divisive is just not consistent with our values.
No one answered the door at Parker Mankey's home, but a female spoke through a closed window saying Rebecca doesn't live here.
She didn't want to discuss the issues with me. She wanted just to scream about Nazis and so on.
Victor wears a yarmulke underneath his MAGA hat. He is Jewish, and so to him, being called a Nazi is hurtful.
People with an education should know better than to say stupid things like that.
Mohawk Karen. She was indeed, and that she got fired was brilliant.
Walk of Life has one, ladies and gentlemen.
And the fact that he was a conservative Jewish man wearing a yarmulke, that was ridiculous. And she called him a Nazi. I mean, unbelievable.
Can you imagine? I've seen plenty of people walking around with Biden-Harris shirts. I've never seen a Republican go after somebody because of that. Look, our borders are open. They're just bleeding through.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I think that Republicans don't do that because, well, first of all, we are the party of less government, and conservatives are people who mind their manners, mind their mother, mind their family, that kind of stuff. But more so, these young people are being encouraged by the press that lies, by the press that has an agenda. So they think they're doing the right thing.
Well, let me tell you, remember that whole story when I made the joke about the Trump stuff? I gave it away to the migrants, and I told them I didn't do it. It was a joke. They wouldn't even take old clothes. It didn't happen. And they put it in the paper anyway.
That's right.
That's right.
Good. She deserved to be fired. Trump's still firing people. Very good, Dominic. Dominic, you're quick. The only one I didn't like was your one last week about. Well, I'm not even gonna say. Girl. Oh, hi, Pops. Say hi. Hi, Pops. Okay. People are entitled to freedom of speech. They are not entitled to getting offended. That's right. That's right. Do any of these protesters who accost people work? I think they get paid to accost, to protest. Don't forget your college professors did pieces of garbage that big influences. Exactly. We are logical, mindful people, critical thinkers, not easily brainwashed. We think for ourselves. And that's the whole thing, right? That's why the founding fathers provided us a constitution that outlined the rights of government, not of, it was to restrict government, to restrain government. And we somehow along the line, we've lost that. Not get offended. We got you, Professor. We got you. Okay, let's see. So post-Trump, well, here, you want to hear a little bit about why the kids didn't go back to school after COVID? Well, Trump's fault again. Watch.
Over the course of the pandemic, young students saw a drop in both reading and math scores. I mean, just a dramatic decline at that. Carol Markowitz wrote a piece in the New York Post about this. She blames the teachers' union chief, Randy Weingarten, for the drop in test scores. And Carol joins us now. Why are you blaming Randy Weingarten for this, Carol?
Well, it's important to understand that when we read stories about the pandemic causing learning loss, we need to understand that it wasn't the pandemic that did it. It was a trifecta of the teachers' unions with people like Randy Weingarten leading the way, the Democratic Party, and the liberal media that covered for them. Those three parties, in part, tried to hurt Donald Trump, and that's why they did it. And that was more important to them than the education of children, and we can never forget, we can never forgive, and we have to hold these people accountable. Randy Weingarten sat down with the CDC and crafted healthcare policy that kept schools closed. She literally blocked the schoolhouse door for thousands of children across the country. And what we found in this latest news is that these numbers have fallen so sharply, and they've fallen, of course, even worse for minority children. She didn't care about that at all. She had her priorities, and it hurt us all.
But why do you think she did that? Why were they so keen on shutting it down and keeping it shut down? Why? What's in it for them?
Right. I think each of the parties involved had a different purpose. For Randy, she thought she was acting on behalf of teachers in part, but also in part it was that she did want to. Donald Trump wanted schools to open, so she automatically did not. She's a partisan leftist activist. Just look at her Twitter. She's literally just as leftist as any other, activist on the left. And so she did this definitely because Donald Trump wanted schools to open. For the Democrats, they were afraid of her, so they did it because they wanted her support and they wanted the support of teachers' unions in future elections. And the media covered for all of them because they're all on the same team, and that's how it goes.
Thank God these kids can't read these articles because they're so dumbed down. What? They'll never know. Never know what Trump did in the teachers' union. Sit there with the helmets on.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Yeah, they'll not be able to read it. Judge Napolitano.
If you're Google, you're gonna pass your tests. That's how my son did it. And he got a scholarship. A presidential one from Biden.
Oh my God. So let's replace the library reading time with drag queens. That will bring the reading scores up. Oh, so interesting you mentioned that. Our next couple of clips. She was a big mistake being in charge of the union. Was? She still is. A rectum cavity smells like Uranus.
Didn't want to go to work.
Okay. All right. So in the post-Trump world, this is what we now get. For all the schools being closed and everybody getting to be everything they want. Watch.
I can't calm down. I can't be fucking touched.
I didn't touch you, man.
I was raped not that long ago, and I can't stand another man touching me.
Well, no one did that.
Okay. I just can't.
Is this a prank?
I can't. He won't go away. He needs to go away. He's the fucking problem.
I need to leave?
Just welcome. We'll take you to the
I still got, okay. She threw some of my stuff.
Okay, you know just take you to another
Hell if I know. I'm so sorry.
You're not sorry.
She wasn't sorry when she cut in line and then screamed.
I didn't see you.
To make it. I just asked her if she saw anyone in line.
Just fucking leave. Just go.
That's an
leave.
adult.
You're making it loud. Let's just walk up.
I'm just talking.
Walk up to her. Walk with Chris. Walk with Chris.
Just to calm everything down.
She's like AOC on January 6th. Sorry. I'm not sorry.
Oh my God.
Someone may be married to that. I'm letting you guys know. If you can survive that woman in a relationship, you can survive World War VIII.
We don't need abortion anymore. If this is the...
That should be everyone's alarm clock. You stopped the clock! It was supposed to be up at 8! My neighbors are like, what the fuck is going on? I need to know how to program my Alexa to do that in the morning.
Everybody download this show so you can get that for your alarm. I think she's mad because they canceled the Blacklist with James Bader. Oh yeah, that was pretty tough. Where's the lion meat? She needs a slap.
Debbie, I wish you would have uploaded the video that Debbie sent us with the lion meat in Costco.
I want you to know that I got a text today from Grandma Joe's friend telling me that she was making lion chops for dinner. The lion meat has touched everybody. That's it.
Who said that? Cynthia said that?
Cookie sent it to me. Cookie says, I just want you to know I'm making lion chops tonight. All right. Well, oh my God, we have more comments. Yeah, Dominic was great. Absolutely. I saw that was hysterical. And okay, so, and here is somebody trying to make a case that there are more than two genders. Watch.
What is a woman? What is a female? What do these words mean?
It's complicated, and I know you're not going to like that answer, but that's because there are no simple answers in human biology.
Let me ask you a question.
You guys,
Can I ask you one last question?
just let me finish. You guys like to bring up high school level biology classes a lot. I get that a lot, but people who go on to more complicated biology classes will talk about sex as a spectrum.
It's not. It's not.
Well, biological researchers would disagree with you.
Well, then they're full of shit, the ones that would say that. There are.
All right.
There are male gametes and female gametes. Oh, I had one last question. I just have one. I have one quick. Can you come back for 1 second? Because this is an important question. You said you're an EMT.
Yes.
Okay. If you're responding to a health emergency. Biological male, somebody with a penis, is having a medical emergency, and they say to you, "I think I'm having a miscarriage." Would you check them to see if they're having a miscarriage? Would you consider that a possibility for them?
Look. No, but that's because some people don't have body parts.
Listen, Weird Al Yankovic, this is how it goes. If you have a pole, it goes in the hole. No, I'm kidding. But if you're a man and you want to be a female and you do it, you're now a female. If you're a female, you want to become a man, you become a man, you're now a man. And that's it. There's 1 and 2. There's hermaphrodites as well, but they choose what they want to be. They get the right if they don't choose to be both.
Right.
And that's it.
The only people that are allowed to be 2 genders is a hermaphrodite.
You cannot be a panda. You cannot be a cat. You cannot be, Karen, Susan, Jane, and Bob. It just doesn't work that way.
Can you be transabled? Next week, we're going to talk about that new phenomenon, people that want to be disabled. But yeah, you can't be anything you want. And you're right, Jen. If you
can be, but when you do it, you are what you went to go do.
You're the other thing. You're not a multitude of genders. You are either a man or a woman.
Wholeheartedly, 1,000%.
That's right.
But you can't just curl your hair and wear some lipstick.
Right.
And then say there's 92 genders.
You can't go through.
Then we'd be extinct, just so you know, because.
Oh my God, we got 1,000 comments here. Hold on a second. Oh my God. I'm glad you joined us, Susan. Oh my God, Tiny Tim had a child. Oh, that's terrible, but true. Spectrum, mental illness is a spectrum, not males or females. Agreed. You know, good question about miscarriage. I thought that brought it home. Good one. Yep, absolutely. Weirdo. Let us pray for lasting peace on earth. Yeah. If you have a dick, you are not a chick. Love Gloria. Oh my God. Good night, everyone. See you ladies next Tuesday. Listen, our next clip, I know we're over, but our next clip is from our president himself. Maybe if you don't, so it's male or females, even when you switch.
Like, where do you guys really have to go?
I'm identifying as a lion, just have to stay out of the supermarket. Shout out to former Chief of Department Joseph Esposito on a fast recovery from surgery.
Oh, yes. Yes, prayers.
Yes.
His
Shout out.
surgery was today. So, please.
Okay. All right. God created man and woman, and that's that. When they're all full of smelly brown stuff, it makes sense. Okay. All right. And here, our final clip is from my president, and hopefully will be 47. Here.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years. Not even close. Thanks to Joe Biden's socialist spending calamity, American families are being decimated by the worst inflation in half a century. Banks are failing, our currency is crashing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years. Real wages have been falling 24 months in a row. In other words, under Biden, workers have gotten a pay cut each and every month for 2 straight years. We have surrendered our energy independence, just like we surrendered in Afghanistan, which we had just a short time ago, and the price of gasoline just hit a 5-month high, and it's going much higher than that. Under my leadership, we had the most secure border in U.S. history by far. Never had a border like this. Under Biden, the southern border has been abolished and millions of illegal aliens have been released into our communities. What's happening now is beyond belief. They're coming in from mental institutions and prisons. They're all being emptied. They're being dumped into the United States of America. Many of these people are very dangerous. They're being dumped. We're like a dumping ground. Our cities have been overrun with homelessness, drug addicts, and violent criminals who are being released from jail en masse with no retribution whatsoever, while law enforcement is weaponized against law-abiding conservatives or Republicans or people they just don't like. Our children are being indoctrinated and mutilated by left-wing freaks and zealots. The senior ranks of our military have gone completely woke, and our military is suffering greatly. Biden has totally humiliated our nation on the world stage, starting with the Afghanistan disaster, perhaps the most embarrassing event in the history of our country. It meant so much to our enemies when they watched that horrible retreat. Russia is teaming up with China. Iran is days away from a nuclear bomb, not even thinkable. Ukraine has been devastated by an invasion that would never, ever have happened if I was president. And Joe Biden has led us to the very brink of World War III. They say Trump was right about everything. Well, I'm not predicting World War III, but I will say this. We're very close, and they're only talking about nuclear weapons. On top of it all, Biden is the most corrupt president in American history, And that's not even close. Nobody can believe what's going on with, again, no retribution whatsoever. With such a calamitous and failed presidency, it is almost inconceivable that Biden would even think of running for re-election. You know what happened in the last election? They cheated and they rigged the election. But I promise you this, when I stand on that debate stage and compare our records, it will be radical Democrats' worst nightmare, because there's never been a record as bad as they have. And our country has never been through so much. There has never been a greater contrast between two successive administrations in all of American history, ours being greatness and theirs being failure. With your support in the election, we will defeat Joe Biden in 2024. We will rescue our economy. We will crush inflation. We will stop the invasion on our southern border. We will restore our nation's dignity, and we will prevent World War III from happening. Together, we will all make America great again. Thank you.
No 5 presidents combined are as tan as he.
It's the truth. Or has it? It's great hair.
No one wears goggles in this country. And it's Trump. And it's his fault.
This comment is from Ramon, is absolutely on the money. Trump, the one man the left fears the most, and that is the truth. So listen, speak your truth. Don't be afraid. 2030 old cars will be electric. Sad. We need American energy, not Chinese batteries. There's not enough cobalt in the world to make.
Not even that. Harvard and Yale did a study that it costs more to run an electric car than it does with a gas guzzling machine.
Yeah, but
those batteries, do you know what exactly they come from China? What happened to you?
What happened to me?
What are you having sexy time over there?
The light went out. Love it. Me too. Good night, girls. Good night, everybody. Remember, watch our replays on YouTube or on Rumble. You could just search Leticia Remauro or Jen Remauro on Rumble. It's the right stuff. And every Tuesday, we're here, the conservative chicks from New York, to talk about the truth and to show you stuff that you might not have seen before. Everybody have a great night. God bless. God bless America. God bless our troops. And God bless the deputy. Who is he? Jen?
Joe Esposito.
Joe Esposito. Sorry. I read it too fast. All right. See you all on Tuesday.